Hello and welcome to the railway. I just thought I'd take this opportunity, having produced a couple of films that are on YouTube with no commentary. I thought it would be nice to produce a film with commentary to give you an idea of what I'm trying to achieve. Fundamentally, the railway would consist of three circuits. The inner circuit being Super 4 from Triang, which will be a standalone circuit to run my older stock of Triang locos with the deep flanges. Next year will see 60th anniversary of when I first was bought my first train set by my parents, the Triang Ginty with System 3 track, and that's still running, and as is the Hahnemann Morgan controller that was bought with it. And I thought it'd be nice to keep the circuit running. I had hoped to emulate Mr. Snooze on YouTube and to run the whole layout in Super 4, but I was frustrated by so many derailments with some of my stock, particularly the newer type on Super 4 points, that I gave up. So as I say, the line will consist of three circuits. The railway consists of three circuits. The principal being the station, which we're looking at now, which is basically two circuits with two passing loops within the station. The main building will be where the three Triang Lizzies are stationed, and the goods stock boxes that are there in front of the three Triang Transcontinental diesels. So that is going to be the main station buildings, and then out to the platforms with its five faces, which will serve all the running lines. So the idea is to have three trains running at any one time, one on the Triang, two on the Hornby and Pico lines that form the main basis of the layout. Over the back, where you can see Annie and Clarabelle lurking by the Triang Pullman diesels, that will be where the carriage shed will sit, and there'll be a small carriage siding over there, which will make an interesting, I hope, running feature towards the May station layout. Panning around underneath the Triang goods train set box, the R3X, is a viaduct section. I've always wanted a viaduct section on a layout, and so that is where that's going to happen, and that'll be scenified, of course. The whole layout will eventually be fitted on cork and screwed down, and at that point I'd like to say, folks, stop nailing your layout down. Use these wonderful screws. They really are fantastic, and you don't do the damage that you do with a nail. If you get the track down wrong, you can lift it easily. They are fantastic. I don't know why people are still tucking track down. I recommend screws. Screw it down. You've got ultimate flexibility then. Going back then, we have the viaduct section, as I said, and that will be built in over there. Panning around, we see a station which will serve exclusively the Triang Super 4 track, where the EMU is sitting. That's a building that goes back some 60-70 years. Wooden. It was made by a firm in Epsom, the name escapes me, and that's a lovely little building, and I thought, come on, let's get that out, let's use it. It's languished in a box for many years, too many that I care to remember. As I say, next year is my 60th anniversary of railways, and it's been knocking around far longer than that because it came from a relative. Over the back there from the ladder, which we see there of point work, will then go in to feed what will be a Minories type station terminus over there, and it gives us somewhere for the trains to run from the main station, which we first viewed, to this station over there. And those of you that are familiar with Mr. Freezer's Minories, you know that that is a layout over there in itself, in the operational potential that system has. Very clever design, all those years ago, back to 1950 something, and a brilliant idea. So that's what's going to be over there. You'll notice the grey-black building, which is a conglomerate of buildings I put together some 40 plus years ago. An Airfix control tower, 3 Airfix engine sheds, and numerous other bits and pieces of Airfix, including a signal gantry and you name it, it's in there. That will be built back here, and that will form the basis here of a engineering works, which will have quite a lot of goods traffic. So it adds another dimension to Mineries over there, and again it's another focal point of where goods will be coming and received and dealt with. Coming around again to the front of the layout, we have Amesbury Crossing, and that I've always wanted a level crossing, so that's going in there. I'm just laying out a rough template to see all this works, which is why I've fitted the track down. It's just to make sure that what I want to have happen will happen, and it does work, and I believe it will all fit into place. Moving across to a new addition that went up this weekend, we have the additional board which will serve as the engine shed area and locomotive maintenance depot. So we have a 2-road engine shed. Over the back of that is a siding which will be for the crane, turntable. Where Britannia stands will be the coaling plant. Behind Britannia, where the hall stands, will be the ash pit. And then you've got its feeder road, which comes in here where Sir Dinadon sits. And ignore the switches, they've just been popped up there to be out of the way. And where the ED and the diesels are all standing there is where a diesel plant will be built to service and maintain the diesel fleet. So that basically in a nutshell is the layout. Why am I using a Hornby turntable when there are better things around, some will say? Well, the reason being, I bought that turntable back in the 70s, a princely sum of £7.50p, which in those days was a king's ransom, and having had it all these years, I really want to see it out. And that is the basis for this layout. We all model trains for various reasons, recapturing the golden age when life was much simpler, but also it's a railway of memories. The engine shed over the back was made by an 80-year-old neighbour of ours who's now passed away, and he made that along with this signal box for me, and I just have to use it. It's why I'm running a System 4 track. Locomotives that were bought by long dead relatives, including my own dear mother and father. I want to be able to use those things. That's a transcontinental set that my mother bought back in 1966, and I want to see these things running rather than stuffed and in a case, or in a box, even worse, hardly seeing the light of day. And that's what I want for the layout. I want to be able to run the locos you've seen, and what you're seeing, and I'm not showing off, please, I'm not showing off. What you're seeing here is just a tip of the iceberg, and I really want to be able to showcase my stuff and have a good time down here with my grandchildren and of course friends and other family that come. And that's why I'm using some quirky buildings. I admire these people, many of you out there that build these intricate layouts on locations that existed or might have existed. But I want to just be able to play trains, run my engines, run my rolling stock and enjoy it. And that's why I'm building it in the way I'm building. Yes, with various different features, but basically so that I can run anything with anything at any time, and just to get the pleasure of the sight and the sounds and the memories that some of these locos bring back. You know, a long lost grandmother who brought me Britannia, things like that. I want to be able to see these things running. This is my own maintenance depot right down here, and so that's where I do my servicing of the locos and various repairs, and so that's what that's going to be there. It'll come further along actually. There, mothballed still, is my 00 tin plate collection. I've got to work out an idea for that. It won't be in here because it just took up too much room. There's a Pullman door from Ibis, which I've had many years. That is going to form part of a display case. The door will be used as a door with glass inserted into it so that I can display stock that's not being used, rather like this glove display case from an Edwardian shop that has some of my locos in right now. Well, I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I hope you've enjoyed this little whistle stop tour of what I intend to try and do. I hope I've given an image of what I'm trying to do, and please look back, and I hope by certainly June, the anniversary, 60th anniversary, I hope to be having the track properly installed, electrics up and running, corked and screwed down. And remember those screws, folks, they really are best. I'd like to leave it by saying thank you to you wonderful people out there that have given me such inspiration to get out and to build this. Not least my son, who persuaded me during the first lockdown to get this garage turned over to railway. Well done. And to you out there, Mr. Snooze, Oscar Paisley, Gormo from Great Chesterford, and many, many countless others. You inspire me immensely. It cannot be underestimated. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving me the courage to say, come on, you can do this. Do it your way. Do it for what you want out of this layer. And that's what I say to you folks. We can get a bit bogged down sometimes on details. And again, I'm running DC because I've got too much to attempt to convert, even if it could be converted to DCC. DCC is wonderful if you're starting out from scratch or have very, very deep pockets. I'm not starting out from scratch. I'm 60 years down the line and my pockets aren't that deep. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Take care. Bye for now.